Hey guys, it's Amy with Lila Bean Designs. Happy Sunday evening. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope you got some fun crafting time in. And welcome. I'm glad you could join me tonight. If you are joining me tonight, please say hello and tell me where you're watching from and what's going on and all the things. We are going to be painting a sandwich board tonight. If you are unfamiliar with the sandwich board inserts, I'm going to show you guys how they work. I'm just finishing up the backer on this one. Oh shoot, I need another pack of baby wipes. I know I have one around here somewhere. I just used my last baby wipe. That is not a good thing. So yeah, come on in and say hello and tell me what's going on and we'll get started. Let me grab the sandwich board really quick so you can see what it looks like. And let me see if I stuck my other pack of baby wipes over here somewhere so that I don't make a big old mess tonight. Shoot. Y'all know I just cleaned my craft room and I know I had another pack of them. And I sure don't see them. Big shocker, right? Y'all know I'm always losing everything in this room. All right, let's give it one more look and see if I can find some. Okay, lovely. That's going to be a messy paint session. All right, well, we will just make do. Hey, Julia, how are you? Okay, so let me set this little guy over here to dry. And I will show y'all. So this is one of the sandwich board sets that we painted. This is the Family Fall and Football Y'all set. And the way that they work is that they just pop in and out. So this is the backer. It's a little easel that has a hole I can get my hand in here and show y'all. So, la la la, see my fingers coming out there. That is the little part that you push the insert in and out of, but honestly, you really don't need it because they pop in and out of there. It's hard for me to do it backwards, but they just pop in and out like that. So that's one of the sets, and I'll show y'all another. I'll show y'all a few more actually that I have sitting here for you guys. Okay, so I have more of these, but I'm going to show you a few tonight that I grabbed. This is the Happy Birthday set, and like I said, it's hard for me to do this backwards, but that is our Happy Birthday one that we painted a few months ago. Super cute. And then we've got our pumpkins, hay rides, flannels, all of that. I'm just going to hold it in front. You can see how they pop in and out, but that's another one of the inserts we painted in the clubhouse. And then this one I did a while back. Our craft, Let's Get Crafty. Cute. And I have a door hanger that matches this one in the club as well. And I think we have a tiered tray set in the shop that goes with it. And then this is an oldie but a goodie. This is the Hey Sunshine Sunflower one. So that's another set that we painted. So tonight we're going to be doing a Christmas one that's got Santa and a reindeer. Ho, 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 an ornament, and all the fun things. So we're going to be painting that tonight. So this is one of the November files for the club. And the club is closing at midnight, you guys. So this is the last time that we'll be open for 2023. So if you want to get in, please join by midnight. The link is scrolling. It's also in the video description. It's svgclubhouse.com. So you can join and see all the fun things that we are doing. I just need a little piece of tape to do these letters. There's a few little letters here. That is just driving me crazy where those baby wipes went. I'll find them as soon as I get off this live, but it's just going to encourage me to try and be super neat while I'm painting tonight. Thank you, Julia. Yeah, they're really fun. I love the sandwich boards. These letters are itty bitty, so I'm trying to get them over here, and we're just going to paint them white. Well, actually, I don't know what color I'm going to paint them yet. I'll have to let that evolve, see what happens when we start painting. So we painted some of the other files this week for November, and I can show you guys pictures of those as well. We did the door hanger. So that's our ho, ho, ho door hanger for November. We did the Santa engraved up on the housetop sign. That is using whiteboard. And this one I have not painted yet. Julia Hopkins painted this one for me. It's hard to see in this picture. It's a tiered tray set. I am going to paint this one for y'all. The lighting it's hard to see in this one picture, but this is our tiered tray set. Let me see if I can find a better picture of that that's not so yellow. But I am going to be painting that one for you guys as well one day this week. And our bonus files that we did the Santa Claus North Pole letter. We did the Santa Paws Stop Here doggy door hanger, which is my favorite. I just love it. So fun. And we made some stocking hangers. And these blah, blah, blah. This is just 4 of the images that are included in the stocking hanger file. So there are other images as well. There's some pet related ones and things like that, so that you can decide which ones you want for each of your stocking hangers. And then we made a shaker. This is our magical Christmas shaker, and that one is really fun. So those are some of the things that we've been making this week in the clubhouse. And then tonight we're going to do the sandwich board. So let's get started on that. Okay, so the way sandwich boards work are that they are done in layers. So this layer is going to go on the bottom of the, I paint them black. So I painted this black. This is the backer. You can't see it right now, but there are score lines on here to show you where to place everything, but you can't see them because I painted it black. But if you really, really look in the light, and I can see it. So when I go to put everything on there, there are score lines so that you know where to put everything. Okay, so this goes at the bottom. Y'all excuse my painted on hands because, like I said, I cannot find my my baby wipes tonight. So we want to just make sure that we're only painting the parts, the layers that are going to be on the front, so we don't waste our time painting things that aren't going to be shown. But as luck has it, every time I paint something that has layers, I usually end up painting something that doesn't need to be painted, but that is okay. And we'll start with Santa's beard. And while I have Santa's beard, we will try to grab everything else that's white and go ahead and paint it while I have white paint on my brush, since we're going to need 2 coats on all that stuff. So you guys tell me what you've been doing this weekend. We went to a craft show, a local craft show, and it was kind of like, it reminded me of the Southern Women's Show, which is a show that that I go to back in Virginia. We have Southern Women's Show, we have Bizarre Bazaar, and we have the Craftsman's Classic. Those are the 3 that I'm used to. So this one was at an old plantation here, and they had a lot of cute stuff. So I bought a few Christmas presents, and I should show y'all, I bought a poinsettia pin, like a brooch. And I'm not a brooch person, but I had to buy it because the flower part of the poinsettia is crawfish claws, and then the leaves are garfish scales. So very, very, very South Louisiana down here, y'all. So I had to have that. I thought that was super cute. I will, it's not in my craft room, but I'll grab a picture and I'll post it on my page and show y'all. Handmade. A very sweet gentleman was selling his wife's handmade items. So that was one of them. And I thought it was very Louisiana, little souvenir from down here. Okay, what else? His mustache. Oh, Michelle, hey girl. Yes, Christmas. Of course, Christmas. You're sofa sitting. I hope you're resting. I hope you are feeling better. All right, let's see. What else needs to be white? All right, so I'll do my little, what am I going to call it? My lamppost, my lamppost, like a candy cane. So yeah, so we're going to paint the back of that white. So y'all tell me, can y'all hear my husband's TV up full blast in the background? Because I can. I'm gonna holler out there and tell him to turn it down in a minute. Can y'all hear it? Why do they have to watch the TV up full blast? I think he heard me. I think he turned it down. All right. I think that's all our white pieces. So let's just go ahead and quickly do a second coat on all of those. And I'm purposefully trying to get paint streaks on his beard just because I think it looks more like a beard. We don't have carpet in this house too, so I think it just echoes. I've never lived in a house that didn't have carpet like in the main living area, so I think it makes it echo more when he's out there watching it. So I've been making ornaments all day, and I've got some ornament files that are coming your way, so I'll get those listed this week. I know you guys are busy making ornaments, and I'm probably a little late to the game getting them posted, but I'm doing it as fast as I can. I do have some shaker ornaments because a lot of you guys have messaged me asking me if I'm going to do any shaker ornaments. Yes, I have shaker ornaments coming your way. Basically, all the ones that I've done have been personalized, or you can personalize them. So I've got some cute ones. I also have made some that I'm going to give as gifts that I bought other files from other makers to make some gifts for my family and friends because I was like, I make files all the time, but I hardly ever buy them. And there's some really cute files out there. So I'm just grateful that there's some creative people. And I still buy files from time to time. Try to throw some business somebody else's way, but also it's just nice not to have to, make something from scratch. Just to grab a file and download it and done. Especially at this busy time of year. So that was actually kind of fun. And it's neat to see how other people do them. Because like I said, I hardly ever buy files. So I was like, I wonder what these, what colors they use on their lines and how they group their stuff and everything. So, okay. That's 2 coats on everything, right? I think so. All right, so let's do some red. I kind of go with the colors that I know I'm going to use first because it just, then I can figure out what's going to go with everything else. So I'm grabbing all of Santa's hats. Hey, Penny, how are you? Some of y'all that are saying, hey, I'm sorry, I can't see your name. You're watching from a Facebook group. And if you're watching in a group, it doesn't let me see your name sometimes. So it just says Facebook user. But I'm glad you're here watching. This is, these have lots of pieces, y'all. These sandwich boards, they do have a lot of pieces because they have a lot of layers, but they are just fun. They're just something fun to sit down and do if you're looking for a craft. Just to do something fun. I like to use them for decorating my own house. Just maybe sitting one in the foyer. And changing it out for the seasons. These are all these tiny little berries, which I probably will end up putting puffy paint on these berries because I always put puffy paint on berries. But in the meantime, I'll just slap some red paint on them. Alrighty. Rudolph's nose. We're gonna make him Rudolph. So I've been making a lot of ornaments out of whiteboard because whiteboard is just so easy. You don't have to paint it. But I'm looking for a thinner whiteboard. I don't care if the back is black. Like, I don't need the black side because some people use the black side for some crafts and the white side for other crafts. I don't need the black because I don't typically use it. So if anybody knows of some 1/8" whiteboard, please tell me. Please tell me where I can go get it. Because I get my whiteboard that I buy is from Home Depot, and it's closer to 1/4 inch. It's not as thick as the wood, the 1/4 inch wood that I use, but it is definitely closer to the 1/4 inch than the 1/8 inch. It's kind of an in-between, thickness. But I want some thinner whiteboard for some of the ornaments. But I want it to engrave like the one that I'm used to because I love that one. So if anybody knows. All right, wait, this one, I still do need to paint this one, right? Don't I? Yes, this goes up on the corner. Okay, so this is going to be in the front. So we need to paint that red. So do you guys use whiteboard for some of your projects? Has anybody ever used it before? It's weird because Thunder Laser, okay, so I have 2 Thunder Lasers. I have one here and one in Virginia. My Thunder Laser in Virginia did not cut whiteboard the same. It was harder to cut whiteboard with that one. It was like I had to cut it on an even higher setting than 1/4 inch birch. This one, it's the same laser. I mean, I don't know, y'all. It's a newer one. It's 100 watt, but I can put it on a lower setting, honestly, and it cuts like butter through that whiteboard. I mean, really, really easy. Okay, now trying to think what colors. Okay, so Rudolph, let's do Rudolph in his reindeer color. So let me do territorial beige, I think, for him. Julia, you use whiteboard? Yeah, whiteboard. It just makes it easy. It's just quick and easy. I'm going to paint over his eyes and then I'll go back and I'll do black on there. And let's see, his antlers, I'll do his antlers the same color, but we'll highlight them. We'll go back and do something on there to make them stand out. Okay, and then Santa's sack, I'm going to do in black. There were some vendors selling door hangers up there this weekend. There was one of the girls selling door hangers. Hers were beautiful. She didn't, I think she probably cut them out with the jigsaw, but they were so pretty. Let's see. Okay, so our bow, but there's no sash. So we have to draw a sash on there, right? Okay, yeah, we do. All right. So we'll do that in a few minutes. Let me actually do the North Pole sign, the back of it in black. So I'll be live again on Wednesday at noon, 1 p.m. Eastern time, noon Central. And I'm going to be making some shaker ornaments. So, and that's going to be a new file. So tune in on Wednesday for that. And there will always be a coupon code on Wednesdays. So I'm calling it What You Making Wednesday. And the video series will be every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And the file for that day, for that project that I'm painting, is always half off for that day. Actually, half off through starting on that Wednesday, but then going through Friday. Because some people they don't see the video in time. So I'm like, I'm not going to cut it off right on Wednesday. I'm going to let it go for a few days. Because, the algorithms don't show stuff to people. So, gotta give people a few days. All right, I'm gonna paint my light post like a candy cane. And the coupon code is gonna be Wednesday. So just like the Tuesday sale, the coupon code is Tuesday, the Thursday sale, the coupon code is Thursday. So, we have $2 Tuesday, $3 Thursday, and then we have Wednesday, What You Making Wednesday, and that file is 50% off. So it's going to be a shaker file, a shaker ornament file. So stay tuned. I'm using a teeny tiny brush. Michelle, if you're still listening, I don't know if you're still listening to me or not, or if anybody else wants to chime in. Did you guys ever watch the LuLaRoe videos when people would sell LuLaRoe and they would hold up the leggings and you could buy them? It was like a live sale and you'd have to comment the number and sold, and then you'd have to go pay. And they were like $25 for these wacko, like crazy colored leggings. No shade if you still wear them, because I do still occasionally put them on. And I have my Christmas ones. I have my holiday ones still. But I loved my LuLaRoe leggings. I loved them. They were comfy. I live in some leggings anyway, y'all. Yeah, it was just, I was thinking about, we used to sit there at night and watch our LuLaRoe stuff. All right, I'm doing a little red and white. It's hard for y'all to see. That overhead camera is just never bright enough. It drives me nuts. To decorate our Santa sack. Okay, there's black in my red paint, so it's making it look dark. Penny, you watched it? Yeah, they were, I used to love when the LuLaRoe sales were going on. It was fun. And then we would share them with our friends, share the video. see what leggings everybody got. That was fun. Michelle and I debated for a while starting a LuLaRoe shop. 3 of my neighbors did. I had 3 people in my neighborhood. It wasn't a very big neighborhood either that had LuLaRoe shops. All right, let's see what we're gonna do. What are we gonna do? All right, we're gonna start kind of putting things together just so I can see what I have before I paint anymore. All right, but hold that thought because we're going to do a little bit more because the reindeer, he's looking like he needs a second coat. Rudolph needs a second coat. Penny, you bought several leggings. They did have several crazy patterns. I still have ones that have high heels on them. Oh my gosh. I still have, I don't even know. I'm gonna turn my fan on so I can be drying some stuff. Y'all tell me if this fan is too loud. I need it to dry some paint. I never know if it's really loud for y'all. Where is my Rudolph nose? Here it is. I'm looking for it because I want to do some highlights on it. All right, just doing a few little highlights on Santa's hat. This bow. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of white and highlight my bow some. My blue is stopped up. All right, I have score lines on here. So Santa's sack is going to go right here. Okay. And our reindeer needs some highlights on his antlers. And I really wish that I could find my black Posca pen. I swear, y'all, I'm going to order just a set of black Posca pens when I get off here. That's not going to work. I don't know where that dang thing went to. This is a black Sharpie with a brush tip. Okay, and then I'm going to use just a skin tone on Santa. All right, so his hat goes there. His beard. I'm just trying to see like where I need to paint his face. Okay. Okay, so I am going to do our North Pole letters over here in white. So I'm just taking a sponge brush. Not very much paint on there. Okay, and we'll need 2 coats, so I'll let that one dry. Try not to get the other end of my sponge all messed up. It always flips upside down. It's all messy. Where does his beard go? Here we go. Here we go. Like that. And I think he has a nose. Does he have a nose? He does. That's his nose. So we're going to paint his nose like a light pink color. Did you say what color you were using for Santa's face? Penny, that was Natural Buff. My pink, my light pink is pretty much gone. Let me see if I can get any out and get my paintbrush all messy. Get some more of that color. And his little tiny nose pink. Okay, so let's put his hat on. so that y'all can see. Okay. I'll figure out which way this goes. There we go, like that. Nope, that's not right. Which way do you go? Is that the right one? Did I paint the wrong side? I did. I painted the wrong side. I was like, why won't that fit? I'm so confused. Maybe I didn't paint the wrong side. All right, I know you fit. What are you doing? There we go. I think I put my this hat down too low. That's what I did. So put this piece on first. Y'all, I'm messing this all up because I did his hat down too low. Now I can't get the rest of his pieces on. Dang it. All right, hold on. I got to pry his hat off. Don't do what I did. And get yourself a flathead screwdriver to keep in your craft room, because that is what I need to do. Come on over there. We're just messing Santa all up tonight. What the heck? All right, so I'm going to put this in here, like so. And let me make sure this fits. Okay, it goes like that. That's how it goes. We're doing the best we can because clearly I needed to start at this. Wow, I can't talk. Top and work my way down. Okay, there he is. There is Santa. All right, so for his, whoops, a minute. Let's put his nose on. Let's put his little nose on him. And then I'm just going to take a black Sharpie. Oh, wait, this is not the brush tip. I need the brush tip. Looks better. I can feel that moving. All right, now I like to do some gray highlights on white. You're welcome. Paintbrushes in water, goodness. No, not that paintbrush. This one. All right, let's do a quick second coat of white on these letters. Okay, so I'm just taking gray and going around his beard. And his hat. And a little on his mustache. And then some on his hat, on his the poof on his hat. Okay. And then we'll also do a little bit on our light post. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put my letters on. My North Pole letters. So I'm putting the glue on the backer because I like that better than putting it on the letters. I find that I get less glue on my fingers that way. And there are score lines on here. Y'all cannot see them, I'm sure, but there are score lines on here so you can see where to put all your letters. All right, so I do want to bring some green into this project. You wouldn't know it by looking, but I'm going to bring some green in. So this is Anita's Lily Pad Green. And I'm going to go between my candy cane stripes and I'm going to add a little green. Just a quick little swipe of green in there to give it some color. And what else? Just a little zigzaggy kind of thing on my sign. Okay. I think we're done. Oh, wait a minute. No, we're not. Rudolph's eyes needed a little white. Okay, so this is the bottom piece. So that is all done. And we can set that aside to dry. And then we have our two pieces that go at the top, which is the ornament and the Santa hat. Okay, now, there are these pieces. Y'all excuse my painted on hands. There are the topper pieces of the ornaments. But if you are going to use your berries and your greenery, I would use that instead. I would not use both because it just gets too chunky. Okay? So I'm not going to do the tops. I'm just going to do my ornament greenery here. Okay. And Santa has some berries and stuff on his hat. Okay. Let's see. me go ahead and glue this on, and then we'll highlight it. Oh, Christy, thank you so much. These are really fun to paint. They look like a lot of pieces. I mean, they are a lot of pieces, but they're not bad. I think they're fun. Painting my holly. And I like to do, where's that dark green? Put it away. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to also use some Apple Barrel Arbor Green. And then I usually also pick up some white. On holly, and I just, with a tiny brush, just do that. All right, I'm going to glue my holly on. And you could cut these pieces out of 8 inch, and that would help with your chunkiness here. Yes, there is a supply list. So part of your membership for SVG Clubhouse, you get your 4 exclusive files each month. And you also get marketing photos and a supply list for all 4 files. So there is a supply list. If you look in the email where your files were and you scroll down, you'll see an art easel that says click here for your supply list. And you also get 50% off all the files in my Etsy shop as part of your membership. So that 50% off is all the time. So 4 exclusive files, marketing photos, a supply list. The supply list has clickable links. You get the 50% off. You get a video tutorial in the club each month in the Facebook group. So when you join, you can scroll back and see all the old videos, all the old painting videos that I did in the group. Okay, so for my berries, I'm going to use my Tulip Slick Puffy Paint. And I'm going to just do, make sure it's not going to, it's kind of clogged up. So hold on a second. This stuff has been clogging lately. It didn't used to do that. Just a little sharp tool. I'm going to stick this too far in there because I like the fact that it has such a fine tip. That's one of the things I love about this product. Okay, now I always warn y'all, when you use this stuff, you need to let this dry overnight. because it just takes a while to dry. See that dimension on there? Sorry, the camera's like trying to freeze. But yeah, that's the puffy paint for the berries, which I absolutely love. So that piece is done. Let's do our ornament. We're going to bring in some of our Seabreeze paint for our ornament because I love Seabreeze. I'm trying to make this set match the door hanger, kind of coordinate with the door hanger. Thank you, Shayna. That's a cute name. Gifted Hands by Shayna. I like that. Okay, and then these are the little dots that go on the ornament. And then we'll paint our greenery. And then I'll pick up a little bit of that arbor green and just dab it. And then I'll pick up some white. And I'll show y'all up close what that looks like. It just gives it a little something, makes it pretty. We're going to do the puffy paint on our berries too. Thanks for helping me with the countdown calendar. Totally missed how to do the shelves. Oh, no problem at all. Yeah, the directions are in the listing description, but unless you've done one, it can be a little bit confusing. But once you do one, that's how they all are. Okay, I think I'm going to do some green, not green, some gold glitter on the top of my ornament, on the little hanger part. I think that'll be cute. And oh, I should tell who asked about the supply list. It doesn't say your name, it just says Facebook user. Okay, whoever asked about the supply list, FYI, so there are going to be two versions, like two sets of photos for this, for the November bundle, because Julie Hopkins painted all of them for me a couple weeks ago, but I'm painting them live with y'all too. So the colors that are on the list right now are Julie's colors for her pictures. But once I get all my pictures uploaded, I will also add my colors to the supply list. So just FYI, when you go on there, you're going to be like, these are not the same colors she used in the video. That's why. If I ever like do a video, like sometimes mine will vary from what the other, like if somebody helps me, you know, to volunteer. All right, this color, I should have shaken this because it didn't go on real thick. So I'm just going to do one more coat. And then we're going to go ahead and put this together, and then I'll do my glitter here in a few minutes. So it's going to go, make sure it's on there right. Yep. And all the score lines are there, y'all. I promise. You just can't see it. You know what? We're going to wait on this because we're going to do puffy paint on that. So we want to do our glitter first, so we don't get glitter in our puffy paint, because that would not be good. Okay, some highlights. Always highlights. Just makes everything prettier. Just some dots and squiggles here and there. That's all you have to do. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just some dots and squiggles. Okay, so for our glitter, do I have a piece of paper? Should I throw my piece of paper away? My piece of printer paper? Let me see. Oh, it has some paper. Sorry, won't be long. It's not wanting to cooperate. Okay, grab a piece of paper, just a piece of notebook paper, printer paper, whatever. Hold on, I got to turn this fan off. Whatever paper you have laying around. Grab some glitter. Let's see what I got. I'm going to use the same one I used the other day because it was so pretty. So we're going to go with the platinum gold. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just take some gold paint. This is, it doesn't have to be like the exact color, but just a similar color. This is like golden straw paint. And I'm just painting straight across here. And I'm making sure that I get plenty of paint because you need your glitter to stick to it. All right, now this piece of paper needs a crease. And we're going to just take our glitter do that. There we go. That is it. So cute. So now our ornament has a little glitter topper, and then I can just take my piece of paper and put my glitter back in there. So it just uses very little glitter to do some things. And just kind of zhuzhes up your project a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to put my little swag thingamabob on here. I think maybe it's upside down. It probably doesn't matter, but that looks right to me. Okay, and then you can either add your berries. Okay, so these are my berries, but what I like to do is the puffy paint. So I did mean to put some paint on here though, because in case the puffy paint doesn't cover completely, I do want this to look red behind it. So I'm just going to really quick put a little red on here. Okay, let me set this in front of the fan and then we'll add puffy paint to it in just a minute. All right, so now we've got the letters that go on the middle of the sign. That's the part that we have next. So we have ho, ho, ho. I don't know if I pulled this off right. Let's see. So the hat. Yeah, like that. So we don't need those berries. The belt is going to go on here. Oh, you know what? We're going to glitter the belt. So we should just go ahead and do that while we have the glitter out. Okay. So Santa's belt buckle. Fan back off. Sorry, y'all. Just shake the excess off, and then we have a glittered belt. Jennifer, you picked up glitter at Hobby Lobby. It's so fun. I got my big pack off of Amazon. All right, let me put the top back on this pink because we don't need pink anymore. Even though it's really pretty empty. And the gold. We don't need gold anymore, I don't think. Okay. I think this is dry enough actually that I'm going to go ahead and do my berries. It's trying to clog up again, y'all. I swear. I was bragging on this product. Why are you trying to clog up on me, Slick? I'm calling him Slick. I don't want to squeeze it so hard and then have it like blow out on my project. What the heck? That is not cool, Slick. That's not cool. All right. Let's poke him again. I need a safety pin because this thing is, there we go. Now it's coming out. There we go. Okay. All right, so that is our ornament. Let me see if I can hold it up for y'all to see. You can see it in the light. See the puffy paint and the glitter? So cute. But you have to be super careful. super careful you don't mess up your puffy paint. All right, now we're gonna do all these letters. So let's get Santa's hat and his belt fixed. Okay, there's his belt. And his hat. I have glue on that. Okay. And highlight. Oh, thank you, George. I'm having fun with it. I'm getting paint everywhere though, because I don't have any baby wipes, even though I know that there's a pack somewhere in this room. And this room is not dirty anymore. Not that it was dirty, it was messy. I had door hangers everywhere. And I saw another pack. And I said, I'm going to put these aside because I'm going to need them soon. So I put them away and hid them from myself. Imagine that. The logical place for them would be under one of these shelves, under my table. And that is not where they are. Oh, goodness. Okay, Santa's hat. Let's do some highlights on his belt. Ooh, no, don't do that. That's okay. It's okay, it survived. All right. So this hoe, this age has to be red because he's Santa. He's got a belt on. So his breeches have to be red. So let's start with that. Always start with the thing that I know what color I'm going to want to paint it, and then I just sort of let the rest come together. That is how I do it. Sometimes I draw things out in Procreate and color them, but this I did not. So this I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. Okay. So that's going to go there. So then the polka dotty one goes next to it. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to figure out is what color is easiest to do polka dots. And I'm going to tell you, I think it's easiest to do white on the background and then do a color for the dots. Yeah. Sorry, I have to think about that. Wait a minute. There's still red on my brush. Oh, and after saying the other day that I didn't have white glitter and going to Walmart and buying white glitter, I found my white glitter. It was in the drawer the entire time. The drawer that I looked through, and I looked twice, didn't see it. It's not small. It's a pretty good shot size thing of glitter. It's right there in front of me. It would have bit me. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Okay, we're going to do 2 coats. Now, same with this. To do our stripes, we're going to want to do white on the background. The stripes are scored on here and the polka dots are scored on the other one. I'm not necessarily following exactly where they are. I'm just using them as a guide to help me know like what I want to do on those pieces. Okay. We'll make this ornament match the other ornament. But I'm not going to glitter it. It's just so small. We don't need to glitter it. Get paint all over the nice black edges. Susan, I did too when I was first starting out. I don't know. I just would say like, just don't put a lot of paint on your brush and paint towards the edges. Like, see how I'm just painting towards the edges? I'm not like starting at the edge and going in, and I don't have a ton of paint on my brush, and I'm just sticking to the top. Another trick is to paint stuff while it's still in the wood, like before you pop it all out, and paint with sponge brushes, like makeup sponges, or the little sponge pouncers that I use, and put just very little paint on them, because you don't want the paint oozing down into the cut lines, because that's where it gets messy. Okay, so get that. And you can clean up your edges with a black Sharpie. So that's what I typically use this black brush tip Sharpie for, is to clean up my edges. And how I do that is, this is a brush tip. So I would take, I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out like what camera y'all can see best in. I feel like the top one I feel like it's dark. You can hold your piece to the side and hold your Sharpie to the side and just go like this to clean up your edges, like parallel to the piece of wood. That's how I clean up my edges. What kind of brush? Like these paint brushes. So I use all kind of brushes, but I always buy angled brushes. So these are just the ones from Walmart that have the little grippy thing, but I get them from Amazon sometimes. I know people have gotten brushes on Temu, but as long as they're angled brushes, and you're going to need like a lot of small ones for, I mean, I do for the projects I'm doing. I'm not sure what projects you're doing, but I definitely use a lot of small brushes when I paint. And I find myself, honestly, I kind of just keep rinsing the same brushes. Like I use the same like 2 or 3 brushes for this entire project. Yeah, it's just how I do it. Okay, so we need another coat of blue on here. And then these two need another coat of white. You're welcome. A flat brush or filbert or another type. So they're angled brushes. So a flat brush is going to be straight, whereas an angled brush is, let me get in front of like some white. See how my brush is angled on the tip instead of flat? It doesn't go straight across. That's an angled brush. So a filbert, I don't even know if I have a filbert. I don't use filbert brushes. I just don't use filbert. I buy this pack because they're angled, but there are a couple of the little, I don't even know what they call them. I can't remember if this is not a filbert. This is a round tip. That's what this is called. I'm trying to find one. So it does come with a couple of round tip brushes. This is a round tip, but it's a small round tip. Now I use that for highlights. You can use Posca pens, like paint pens for highlights. And you can also use paint pens for a lot of this. You could use paint pens for these small letters. You don't want to use your paint pens for a lot of big things because you'll go through all your ink. But you could use them for these if you wanted to. I might use a paint pen on these dots. I'm going to have to see. See if that's what's going to look good. Okay, and then these two are going to be green. I'm not even rinsing my brush, y'all. This had white on it. I'm just dipping it in the green. All right, so let's start figuring out all these things. So do that. And okay, so I'm going to do puffy paint for my berries. Hold on. Some red squirted out on there. I'm just trying to get it off. But then I'm going to use white puffy paint for these dots on that ornament. So I'll show y'all that. That's with the puffy paint. Okay, and then we're going to do some highlights. All right. And let's see. Do some highlights on this H. And the same on these. Okay, so we don't need those berries. All right, now for the polka dots and the stripes, let's see what we're going to do here. So for our stripes, like I said, I am not really following the lines that are here. I'm just kind of doing my own thing. So I did some with red. And now I'm going to go back with green. Okay, that looks cute. And then for this one, I'm wondering if, let's see, trying to find a red paint pen. Okay, so I'm gonna use my red Posca pen, but I doubt my red, well, let's see, maybe it will. Yeah, actually, that's a pretty good red. Ooh, well, now it's squirting out too much. Following the score lines on here. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and do a second coat, but I gotta let that dry. But that red is drying a little lighter than the rest of the red, so I'm going to either do a darker red Posca or I'm gonna dip my Posca pen in some of my red paint, which is one of my little things I do sometimes. Okay, so in the meantime, let me throw away these pieces that we're not going to use. Close up my paint. All right. For the backer, we want it to look like a chalkboard. So I'm going to take this one's dry. Let me get a fresh one. I'm going to take a chip brush, I think this is a 1 or 1.5 inch chip brush, and I'm dipping it in white paint, but then I need a fresh paper towel. I'm going to do the thing where I dab off most of the paint, and then we're going to just do this. So it looks like a chalkboard that has been erased, but not very well. Erased, but not washed. All right, so let's see. All right, now, like I said, I have my score lines. So I'm looking at where those are. I'm going to grab my bottom piece. Put that on first. So I've got to look at it in the light because I want to make sure I get that right. I see the reindeer ear. I see that reindeer ear right there, and right there is where that's going to go. Okay, so we're going to glue that on first. Let's get that over so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Okay, I know you can't see the score lines, but I can see them, and I'm going to put glue where I see score lines. Sometimes you have to get your phone out and use the flashlight, honestly, when you're doing black. All right, that looks right. All right, so I'm going to just hold this on here for a minute, make sure that it's glued down good before we move on to the rest. I'm loving this set, y'all. It's turning out super cute. I do have to fix those polka dots because they're looking kind of orangey red. They're not looking like cherry red like the rest of the project. So we will fix that. Oh, I need to glue my belt on too. I don't know, like I said the other night, my stick fast, it's getting a little bit old. It's taking longer to dry. Could be this Louisiana humidity, who knows? The fact that I don't always put the top back on. Could be that too. All right, so then we're going to do the top two pieces. Let me real quick glue this belt on and do another coat on these polka dots. Yeah, okay, so that's my Santa belt with my glitter buckle. Cute. These little britches. All right, now, like I said, my polka dots. Polka dots is looking a little orange. Let me see. I got a darker red color. Too dark. Let me see. Are we gonna like that? Let's see if we're gonna. Actually, I think, yeah. I think that's gonna work. Or you can always tell your machine that you do not want these score lines on your wood. You can tell your machine you don't want that. They're there, they're optional. And then just paint it however you want to paint it. All right, let that dry. Now, Santa's hat. I'm trying to see the score lines. Santa's hat goes. Okay, so the way these work, y'all, is that they do not go all the way on this piece because remember, this piece pops in and out. Okay, so follow the score lines. Because if you don't, hold on, let me turn my flashlight off. Is it off? No, it's not off. There, it's off. If you don't follow the score lines when you put these pieces on, when you go to pop it in the sandwich board, it may hit one of the little side insert pieces. So you want to follow your marks on here. They are there for a reason. Our ornament goes here. So I'm going to go ahead and hold that on too while I'm holding this one on. Then the rest of them are easy. Because they don't hang off the sides. No. This one. And not the ornament, not the polka dots, but this one. And then the Santa going this way. Polka dots. And then this one. And then this one. All right. So we'll glue those on in just a minute. Uh-oh. Frozen again. Excuse me. Well, it looks like it's freezing, y'all. I hope it fixes. Excuse me, I'm going to keep going. Okay, it's back. I don't know why it does it. I swallowed the wrong way. That's all that was. I feel like that red turned out a little bit too dark. You know what we're going to do about it? We are going to take, it needs some green in there, I think is the problem. I'm going to take some green. And just do this. There we go. Just needed it to be lightened up a little bit. Y'all probably can't even see that in the camera, but I can see it. All right, let's glue these last two pieces on. You're good. There we go. That is it, folks. That is our sandwich board insert. Now, I am not going to attempt to pick this up and pop it into the sandwich board because it needs to dry. And if I try to do that with all these pieces, something's going to pop off. So I'll do a little video, a little picture after it's all dry and show you guys, but that is it. So not too complicated, right? All right. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Don't forget the clubhouse closes at midnight. So make sure you join before then if you would like to join us. And I hope to see y'all in there. Talk to you soon. Bye.